Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the feat. I forgot what it was called. Scion of the Outer Planes.
Indeed. So this is, at time of recording, we are 11 days up until the Planescape book releases, which is going to be like sigil and plane traveling stuff. So it's not out yet, but they released this feat in a little like promo post they did at D&D Beyond that was talking about 2 new backgrounds and their corresponding feat, which means this feat, Scion of the Outer Planes, is similar to like Squire of Solamnia and the magic alternative that it had in the Dragonlance books, where it was like related to character backgrounds and archetypes. And because of that, this feat is a little bit lower powered than I'd like it to be, because it's supposed to be like a background feature, which is like in between the worst of the worst feats and like a real feat. It's not like a sharpshooter or a great webmaster or anything. It's kind of more like a background equivalent, but better than normal backgrounds. I don't know. We'll get into it. The 4 core mechanics that you get here is exposure to the far reaches of the multiverse often leaves a mark on a character, and thankfully not just horns and tail. The feat represents your connection to one of the outer planes. Now, then you pick one. Chaotic outer plane, evil outer plane, good outer plane, lawful outer plane, or the outlands. Each of them gives you resistance to a specific damage type. Chaotic gives you poison, evil gives you necrotic, good gives you radiant, lawful gives you force, and outlands gives you psychic damage resistance. So those are the 5 resistance types. And then they also all come with a cantrip. So chaotic gives you minor illusion, evil gives you chill touch, good gives you sacred flame, lawful gives you guidance, and outlands gives you mage hand. So you basically get a cantrip and 1 type of damage resistance that's fairly niche for a feat.
Now, are you spending a feat on this, or does this come with a background if you take it for
So
free?
there are 2 backgrounds that are supposed to get it, and that's Planar Philosopher and Gate Warden.
I'm saying, does the background open this, make this available for you, or does it just come with the background?
It comes with the background.
All right, so it's a free feat.
Yes, but in practice, usually not. So what often will happen is if you're doing backgrounds that give feats, if you're taking, like, let's say, Bob, we're making characters together.
Yep.
And our DM's just like, hey, we're playing a homebrew thing. We're just going to start at 3rd level, make some characters or whatever, right? You don't necessarily know, like, okay, well, what backgrounds are on the table? What can I pick? If you say, can I use the backgrounds out of the new book? Your DM might say, sure. And you would probably want to then also ask, this gives me a feat. Is that cool? And now all of a sudden, the answer is, well, I don't want you to have feat, no one else to have a feat, because my background that I might pick, while you're picking, the Gate Warden background to get this feat, I might just be picking Acolyte and have the ability to sleep in churches. And that's not really like a comparable mechanical thing, right?
Hobos could do that.
Yeah, that often is going to relate to then everyone getting offered a feat, or this is going to get talked down and be harder to actually get to use. I'm not a fan of this implementation and them trying to make backgrounds that are more powerful than the existing backgrounds without them overhauling the existing backgrounds so that they like actually add feats to the game and stuff. They don't currently. So we're currently in a world that's in between the next edition of the game and the current edition of the game, and that's hurting the ability to use new content, because I don't know if I'm allowed to. It varies wildly table to table, and it's inconsistent, and I don't like it. And this feat isn't worth taking otherwise. So it's kind of in this nebulous space where I'm like, I don't know what this is supposed to be for. I don't know who's supposed to get this, but in its current printing, I think it's pretty awful.
Well, I mean, or rules as written, it's if all it costs you is a background, then it's all right.
Sure. If we just look at it rules as written, and you say, as a player, agnostic of the reality of life and the reality of making characters aimed at campaigns. If we talk about this as only functionally a background feature and not even a feat, because you don't want to spend a feat on this. If you just get it as a background, it's kind of like honestly expanded racial traits, because a lot of races will have things like damage, resistance to fire damage, free cantrip plus 1st level spell per long rest. This is 2 of those things stable to a otherwise feature that most people will never acknowledge is on their sheet. So that is something a little bit extra free juice. I would love to start with Mage Hand on every character I ever play. It is really easy for me to say, Flavor Flea, my background's whatever I want it to be. I'm going to mechanically use the background that gives me the Outland Scion of the Outer Plane feat, and that all of a sudden now gives me resistance to psychic damage and Mage Hand at no real expense to my character. Like, I'm not giving anything up for that for the most part. You might have to pick like some specific skills that you may not love, but it's not going to be the end of the world the vast majority of the time.
All right, so going forward, how do we want to talk about this?
as a feat.
Yeah. All right.
Ignoring the backgrounds, like, are you taking this on any character ever?
Well, no, because I mean, there are any number of feats that will give you more than one cantrip. Yeah, there's magic initiate, shadow touch, fey touched. You're getting a cantrip and leveled spells. So in order for this to matter, you have to really value one type of damage resistance, and and I don't know. I don't think that's worth it.
I agree. Poison is hypothetically the most valuable of them, as I think that of this list is the highest likelihood to see if you were to randomly roll all of your monsters, it is the most likely to come up. I still don't want to spend a feat on that, and also just get Minor Illusion. Like, I like Minor Illusion a lot. I'm just gonna take another cantrip with Mage or with Find Familiar as a Magic Initiate, or I'm gonna take Strixhaven Initiate and get Minor Illusion and another cantrip and a first level spell of my choice that I can spend spell slots on. Like, I'm gonna take all of those effects that are gonna be way better than this. You could just have Absorb Elements as Arcane. Like, if we just look at Magic Initiate, right? You could prepare and learn once per long rest, resistance to all of these damage types, right? You could have Absorb Elements and be able to say, maybe not Necrotic and Radiant, but all of the other ones, you could say, I have resistance to, when I need it, these damage types, all of them. Fire, Poison, Lightning, Thunder, Psychic. I can just Absorb Elements, have that damage. And then have 2 cantrips. That's way better than this, right?
Yes.
I find this specific decision really baffling and troublesome. I don't know why this is a feat. I don't know why this isn't background features. Like, why isn't it this just in the background features of the backgrounds?
Well, it kind of is, but I guess for anybody that really wants it, that they can spend a feat on it as well.
It's just not worth that, though.
No.
And that's a problem, right? If you're a person that's playing this game for one of the first times, right, and there's a new book that came out and it's got a feed in it, and you want to say, okay, I want my character to be more connected to these planes that I'm learning about, it seems like a way to do that. Mechanically, you're getting the worst, like, nothing. Mechanically, you're getting almost completely useless abilities compared to the fighter that's getting Great Weapon Master, compared to the player that's taking Sharpshooter, to the player that's taking Lucky, to the player that's taking Shadow Touch, the player that's taking any of the other meaningfully powerful feats. Warcaster. We have Strixhaven Initiate. We've got Poisoner that'll take over this. There are bad feats that I'll take over this really regularly, and you'll see other players on the table using them aggressively, and you'll go, well, I took a flavorful one that has no impact on gameplay outside of giving me Mage Hand. Like, and I could have done that 1,000 different other ways.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's not my biggest problem, though.
What's your biggest
problem? Well, you didn't actually read the entire description.
Deliberately. I deliberately did not read the entire description.
Sam, you knew I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, I know.
All right. I'm getting Jim's Magic Missile vibes again.
It's one particular one that's really egregious.
There's I mean, even the bit that you read, exposure to the far reaches of the multiverse often leaves a mark on a character, and thankfully not just horns or a tail. Just, I don't need that kind of snark in my.
Also, horns and tail are awesome. Like, objectively, they're cool.
All right, but here we go. Let's see. All right, chaotic outer plane, nothing bad there. Evil outer plane, okay. Good outer plane. No, this is got a little bit of flavor to it, but it's all right. They're not trying to get cute.
It takes itself seriously. These 3 so far have taken themselves seriously. The last 2 don't. Waffle Outer Plane says, you become so orderly and put together that you no longer pile clothes on top of the chair in the corner of the room.
What the fuck? That
out of left field, that's here. Sure, okay. What am I reading? And then the Outlands. After a time in the Outlands, nothing can phase you anymore. You've been there, you've done that. You went on that blind date with the aberration.
What is this? This is not even consistent with itself.
No. I'm really concerned this got printed just because it is so all over the like. No editor should let this go through like this, right? Like, stick to the style of, if you want this to be cutesy and funny, the whole thing has to be cutesy and funny. You have to have bits in and among itself and target that audience. Right now, I'm reading through this, I'm going, this looks like regular D&D print, and then we're just like way out of left field doing something entirely different, and it's just jarring. It's just like, what am I looking at? Not a cohesive choice, not a stylistic idea. Even if we don't find it funny, like, some people may enjoy this kind of humor, but like, this isn't a good way to implement that kind of humor, even to the people that probably would get a chuckle out of it, right?
Well, no, but I mean, if this is Dungeons and Dragons,
Yep.
If I want this kind of humor, I'm going to bring it to the table. I don't need it in the books.
I
But
wholeheartedly
all right,
agree.
you know what? Even with Jim's Magic Missile, to its credit, it's called Jim's Magic Missile. All right,
Yes.
that's already. This is called Scion of the Outer Planes.
And
That's
it
not
makes
where
fun of
I
having a
need.
tail and horns.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
what do
not
you...
where I need jokes about my laundry and dating.
Yeah. It's really a baffling decision. This entire direction I find really troublesome, and it feels quick and unpolished, and like it's not taking itself at all seriously. And like, again, as players at the table, a lot of the joy in Dungeons and Dragons is in the silliness of it. A lot of the joy in Dungeons and Dragons is finding the plot holes, is looking at the ludicrous situation that you put yourself up in, is looking at the monsters that take themselves seriously, that are objectively ridiculous, right? There is something inherently funny and fun and engaging about that, right? Whenever it's poking fun at itself and poking fun at real life in a like this is like transcending time and space to make fun of your laundry chair when you're depressed. Like, that's the joke it's telling here? What? The Outlands are full of otherworldly, mind-warping horrors based off of things like Lovecraft, right? Like, we're not looking at we're looking at an environment that's beyond the scope of comprehension, that it melts your brain and rends your, like, rends you limb from limb. And there's a cute date joke about it? Like, what? What am I looking at here?
I don't know, but
It does
I'm,
not
I'm glad.
inspire confidence in
I'm
this book. I'll tell you that
glad
much.
I'm glad we're on the same page this time.
Sure. Okay, Jim's Magic Missile, I didn't think it was that funny, but we both acknowledge, you even said it, right? Like, this spell knows what it is. It's in the book for Acquisitions Incorporated, which is designed for a specific audience that likes the brand of comedy that Acquisitions Inc. brings to the table, right? I enjoy Acquisitions Inc.'s live plays enough. They're pretty funny. I get a kick out of the live play stuff. It's a good time. It's a little bit weirder to see them in print, but it is reflecting that atmosphere, that mood. This is supposed to be talking about one of the most anticipated and beloved plane settings ever, right? People love Planescape. People love flying around the multiverse to a bunch of different worlds so much that it literally is baked into the PHB in ways that I find a little bit jarring, with things like, astral projection and plane shift, right? Things that don't fit every setting particularly well. It is a really iconic element to something like this setting. To have these weird, not remotely taking it seriously, getting really far off the track of what this setting is to tell jokes is odd. And whenever I'm looking for rules, I don't want to read the jokes. I want to know what the rule does. I want to know how it affects my character sheet. I don't want to be confused about these things. And extra text is hurtful.
They're like super toothless meme jokes as well.
Yeah.
Which is all that I still stand by my opinion on Jim's Magic Missile for that.
Sure. Not your brand of comedy. I respect that.
It's objectively terrible.
Okay. Objectively, I'll disagree on that one. But yeah, I'm really nervous about this book if this is the kind of content that's going to be in it. This isn't content worth using unless you're getting it for free and other people aren't. So like, and if everyone gets this, yeah, sure, fine, it's whatever. Everyone gets a free bonus cantrip and bonus resistance. Why not? Sure, if everyone is getting this or Squire Solemnia and stuff, yeah, okay, that's close to parallel. Squire is definitely better. The magic one in the other book in Dragonlance is definitely better than this, but sure, they're close to or clue equivalent feats. This to me feels like they're saying we've reworked the background system internally, haven't released it yet, but you get to see what we're playing with that you're not playing with, because we're making, new backgrounds that have feats attached to them, and there are specific background feats that everyone's supposed to get but currently doesn't. So the new content will have it, but the old content that you're supposed to use with it doesn't, and now we're in this weird space where I don't know what rules I'm supposed to be using. I hate this. I think this is very bad and needed heavily revised before releasing, and we need clear, consistent rules. We need at least consistency coming from Wizards of the Coast to say this is how backgrounds should be run, and we're not getting any of that right now. And I don't know what content I'm allowed to use, which makes me not even want to buy books if I don't know if the content is usable in them. Like, and the tone of it's all over the place. Bah humbug. Bah humbug. Bad feet. Bad feet.
Yeah, I'll go first. This is getting a 1 from me.
I agree. I don't think anyone should put this on the character sheet.
It's a lousy feat, and it offends me personally.
Sure. This is definitely me more saying, like, don't spend a feat on this. But also, this has no business getting printed.
All right. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the rest of what they've got to offer, because
I'm not going to spend money on it.
Oh, no. I'm just like, but it makes for good video.
That certainly it does.
All right. Well, let us know what you think of Scion of the Outer Plains, and in your laundry or whatever the hell. All right. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.